So I was reading an article recently about the new transitions in the sky, specifically the introduction of Pluto and Capricorn, and what that means for different movements on planet Earth in order to keep us correlated. And one thing I really noticed is that even though there's a lot of people that are inspired to cause change, they tend to have like a heavy negative connotation behind something that is currently able to be adjusted, right? It's like emotionally emoting in a way, emotionally using words and information in order to sway people to uh, their point of view versus just informing people so that they can move. And I'm trying to find the article right now, just because this was a few days ago. But I remember I was so like I was into it for a minute, and then they just started being like super pointed and negative towards people. But the point is getting to a point where you don't have to. Here, I think I might have found it. Where you don't have to separate people, and where you don't have to separate people in order to gain things like wealth, or like basically the old mechanisms that people used in order to come into power, which again, knowledge is power, isn't it? And so that's the thing. A few of the old systems that were designed to empower certain groups and disempower other groups are coming to a point where they no longer have a proper foothold. And so by that being the case, that means that all people have the opportunities to grab and have an aligned placement. The problem with most people is that they were not afforded this ability to know a lot of the information, though, that they could know in order to have a power position for themselves. And I'm sorry, today, I don't know, I've just been bleeding from my face a lot. That's okay, though. But yeah, like a lot of the people, they have the ability, but they still are or have been put in such a position that they just really don't understand still how to get to a point of wealth. And the thing is, there's a level of wealth, health, and riches, right? And they all are connected to a different part of where your mental is. So if you are a godly person, and your wealth will come to you just because of the way that you carry yourself throughout the world, which is pre-planned. It's something that was designed by the creator. So the world, Earth, is designed to be experienced, but it can only be exemplified in those who receive this by aligning with the system that is already here, or from those who understand the system and they move about it in a way where they can achieve more than one goal. And it's going to become more cryptic because of the nature of what I'm saying. And then there are those who, against all odds, and usually to their detriment, um, want those things that are hyper material. But when you think of what material is, material shouldn't be your ultimate goal, because material dies, material leaves, material passes away, material passes hands. Now, in my opinion, it is not necessary to completely abandon material things, because we still are in material bodies. And, you know, it is important just to pay attention to what your ultimate goals are, and then use a lot of your time to pursue that. And personally, I believe that the understanding of the nature of nature, and I don't mean nature as an outside, but nature as in how everything works and moves together. So here, I think I found this here. They were just attacking the ruling class, which in the past had all of the knowledge and used this to disenfranchise people of their wealth, and basically, kept on collecting wealth, which is kind of what a lot of governments do. But it's not necessarily like some governments did this in a way where it was deliberately disenfranchising and taking advantage, and then others realized or realize the maturity and stages that it takes for people to get to a point of realization, and they just use that as both a way to guide and to gain a stability, basically. So there's a lot of adult babies out there, and a lot of people would like to say that they're not, but until they are understanding of even the semi basics, like the basics of getting up, taking care of yourself, working, going to sleep, that in and of itself is not, that's below basics, right? So once you start understanding the nature of how the world fits together and how it sits on top of the wild nature, and your evolution through those stages, and then getting to a point where that's when you have a choice as to whether you decide to stay a part of that thing that grew you, or to start being more of your spiritual nature, which has nothing to do with riches at the end of the day. Now, again, if you stay a part of that thing that grew you, it's in your best interest to give back and organize and help others. Yet, it's something that could be considered a middle way, right? But the worst thing that you can do, yeah, so here, in fact, only property holding capitalists were ever really free, and they sold all the other folks on the promise of becoming free just like themselves. Property holding and profit making citizens with a vote that counted. They called it the American dream. You too, they said, can own your own land and house if you work hard enough to be exploited by your bosses. In fact, you can become a boss yourself. All you need is greed. A lack of personal integrity, a profound alienation from nature, and a ruthless pacemaker of an artificial heart. So that's precisely what I mean. And this part of the article is called Jack the Ripper. Everyone is born into what they're born into. And until there's a better system, really, that is designed to completely make up for all the benefits, aside from the non-benefits of the situation, there's no use in making people unhappy with their ability to become free. And again, free is subjective or objective. And again, and I was just having this conversation the other day about what's called the American dream, or a slice of the American pie. Literally, even as a corporation, you're considered a free person's, or your piece is considered a free person. So literally, all you have to do is be smart about how you attain your wealth. You don't have to look at it as you slaving away every day. I mean, if that's what you choose to do, that's what you chose to do. But you do it because it's convenient and you're being lazy, whether that be mentally or not. And even if you're not being lazy, you may or may not have the opportunity or know the opportunity that is in front of you. So that's what it comes back to, the responsibility of the person. And yes, in the past, that may have been uneven, it may have been unavailable, but right now, it's perfectly open and available for everyone to be able to do that. So if you are interested in learning more about how to move within this current setup of a society and what is coming for the future, and being able to stake your piece while it's an open playing field, follow me. I'll be posting different tidbits here and there. I suggest that you just follow my music, follow what I write, and you might be onto something good. I'm a modern noble, so that's what I do. Peace.